I'm a professor in Ireland in music education. Predominantly the work I do is in teacher education. I really wanted to investigate musicians that work in classrooms. So these are visiting musicians or teaching artists, as they're called here in the US, and their role in schools. What I particularly wanted to look at was that kind of partnership between class teacher and visiting musician, and how they work together or don't work together to deliver music education in schools. So that was my particular interest. And of course the reason to come here was because New York City has a very established foothold in this idea of musicians working in classrooms through organisations like the Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, Philharmonic Schools. You know, there's so many initiatives that happen here. And this is something that's very much evolving as a practice in Ireland. So that was really the reason I wanted to come here and investigate and explore how it works here, as I said, the challenges involved. I've been able to not only interact with colleagues here, which has been fantastic, but I've been able to actually get out into the schools in New York City. So that has given me a wonderful different perspective on a different education systems. I actually spent 5 years as a child in New York in the early 80s as an Irish immigrant. And we returned to Ireland in the early 1990s. So for me, coming back here, almost had this feeling of return or a sense of coming full circle. And I suppose one of the nicest moments was I returned to my old school up in the Bronx. And I hopped on that subway and I'd gotten directions from one of the old teachers there who's still there, who taught me. And I got in touch with her and she remembered me and all that was wonderful. And as soon as I got off the subway, I didn't even look at the directions I'd written down because I knew exactly where to go. And it was one of those lovely moments. And I left when I was 10, by the way, so I was quite young when I left. But I knew exactly where to go, and I walked up to the school building and I delivered music workshops all day long to the children in that school. So personally, I mean, as you can imagine, that was a very, very powerful moment for me to return and be able to do something that obviously as a child aged 8, you could never imagine yourself.